This article comes courtesy of the Washington Post, who has a history of writing some dumbass anti-vegan articles, and the title is, "Sorry Vegans, eating meat and cooking food is how humans got their big brains." This article clearly wasn't written by an academic who's interested in educating, but rather someone with no expertise in nutrition or anthropology who has a personal bias and an agenda to push. I don't mean to insult anyone's cat, but I don't see a correlation between meat eating and intelligence. I concur, this author is making quite a dubious claim. Vegetarian, vegan, and raw diets can be healthful, probably far more healthful than the typical American diet, but to call these diets natural for humans is a bit of a stretch in terms of evolution. Okay, so it's clear by the title of this article that it wasn't intended to be an education piece on human evolution, but rather someone's biased dietary views, and the first argument against veganism is an appeal to nature fallacy. I really don't care about what's natural or not, I only care about what's healthy, ethical, and sustainable. And since vegan diets are protective against heart disease, diabetes, and cancer, saves the lives of animals, and reduces our environmental impact, I'd much rather be an unnatural vegan who is healthy, ethical, and sustainable than be a natural meat eater who is unhealthy, unethical, and unsustainable. Not to mention, I don't understand why the writer of this article thinks there's anything natural about animal agriculture. Did our ancient ancestors go to the grocery store to buy their meat? Did your cat help you write this article? The new studies demonstrate that it would have been biologically implausible for humans to evolve such a large brain on a raw vegan diet, and that meat eating was a crucial element of human evolution. Well, the consensus among most anthropology experts is that cooking played the crucial role in the evolution of the human brain, as cooking our food allowed us to eat a greater volume of food, along with making it easier to digest and absorb nutrients from our diet, but it also reduced the amount of time spent chewing our food, which is not an activity that prioritizes intellect. Meat does provide a large calorie source, and calories were definitely necessary not only for survival but also the development of our brain, but there's no evidence that there's any special property in meat that would have accelerated brain development. Considering that the brain consumes 25% of our daily calories and up to 60% of our body's blood glucose, cooking starchy root vegetables was likely far more responsible for the evolution of our brain, as it would have provided a large, consistent stream of glucose to fuel our growing brains. Humans also have 3 times the salivary amylase genes compared to our primate relatives, allowing us to extract more energy from these foods, giving more evidence to the theory that the consumption of starch-rich vegetables was responsible for the development of our brain, rather than just eating meat. Like I said before, the title of this article makes a strong suggestion that meat makes you smarter. Well, where's the evidence for that? Even if our ancestors required meat for their brain development, how is that at all relevant to us today? Pa, I'm starting to feel sick. Do I have to keep eating all these burgers? Just keep eating, son. If you don't eat tons of meat, you won't pass that test tomorrow. If cooking meat wasn't routine before the dawn of modern humans, eating meat certainly was. The second study examined the remains of a pre-human toddler who died from malnutrition about 1.5 million years ago. Skull fragments revealed that the child had porotic hyperptosis, a type of spongy bone growth associated with low levels of dietary iron and vitamins B9 and B12, the result of a diet lacking in animal products and a species that requires them. Okay, I can easily dismiss this argument as there's no evidence that humans require animal products, and even the American Dietetics Association recognizes that vegan diets are suitable for all stages of life, from pregnancy to adulthood, so clearly a lack of animal products isn't what killed this child. Secondly, plant foods are also rich in iron, and vitamin B9 is also known as folate, which is found in plant foods. Meat, dairy, and eggs are extremely low in folate, and vitamin B12 is produced by bacteria, which is found in fresh water and in soil. And because in modern times we wash our food and drink treated water, we're missing those natural B12 sources, and because of modern farming practices, livestock are now given B12 supplements. Again, it's clear that this article wasn't written by an academic with any expertise in nutrition or anthropology. It was written by an ignoramus with the help of his cat. So what would have caused this child to die of malnutrition? Well, remember how I said our ancestors didn't have grocery stores? They didn't have the luxury of having every food they needed immediately available to them, and so many of them died of malnutrition. Veganism didn't have anything to do with this, and clearly, eating meat isn't making the writer of this article article any smarter. And in fact, veganism and vegetarianism is associated with intelligence. It seems that the people who recognize that it's wrong to cause the suffering and death of animals and support the animal agriculture industry tend to be smarter. So maybe you shouldn't ask Mr. Whiskers for diet advice. Leonardo da Vinci, the most well-known Renaissance artist and inventor, was vegan, and other geniuses including Albert Einstein and Nikola Tesla were vegetarian. It doesn't seem that a lack of meat has any effect on intelligence, but a lack of regard for other living beings does.
Beef. What a relief. When will this poisonous product cease? This is another public service announcement. You can believe it or you can doubt it. Let us begin now with the cow. The way it gets to your plate and how.